Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and our friends between and beyond, to a very special episode of Hook Cooks. I am Mitch, the Monster Chef, and I am terribly sorry to announce tonight that in the Kitchen of Creativity, our soft serve machine is out of order. Tonight's dessert will be hard ice cream. I wanted to get that painful stuff out of the way because the rest of the meal is sure to be a doozy. And who have we got preparing it for us tonight?
I am Dishbot. Tonight I will be playing the role of Jack. You've turned my entire world upside down. I thought ice cream was just soft. Now I'll have to reapproach pretty much everything.
Yeah, firmness has always been something that you've been challenged by, we know. I'm Connor, your larder critter. I've been sampling roadside mosses, and let's just say I'm liking the lichen. I lick one, I'm hiking. Enough about me, though. We have an extra chef here in the kitchen with us tonight, Mitch.
That's right. Joining us in the Kitchen of Creativity tonight is a special guest who needs no introduction, but will get one anyway, because that's just how we roll. She's part of the incredibly creative team at Shopkeeper Studios, who are behind the self-proclaimed pop culture parody murder mystery musical, The Art of Murder, a gorgeously animated short series coming out very soon. Please join me in welcoming our guest, Nirali.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you, and thanks for inviting me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're very excited to have you here.
I'm Nirali. I'm the co-founder of Chip Animation Studios in Melbourne. Like Mitch said, right now we're making the 2D animated series, which is a pop culture murder mystery musical, which will be airing this summer. And if anyone's interested in learning more about the series, please follow us or check out our social media. You can find us at Chip Animation on YouTube and Instagram, and Chip Anim on Twitter because of the lower character count there.
Because of Twitter's weird rules.
Couldn't quite get the whole run in there, so
Elon. Thanks, Elon.
Thanks, Elon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, it was that way before.
Okay, we can't blame Elon for this. You're off the hook, Elon.
Predates Elon.
For this one thing only.
Yeah, okay, for this one,
you're off
the hook. Okay, well, it is time to roll up our sleeves for another shift here in the Hook Cook kitchen. I am excited, as always I am, to take a pre-prepared prompt from our producer, Vinny. Well, normally Vinny, but this time our guest, Nirali, and turn that into a fun, farcical, and oftentimes frenetic radio play segment that we call The Plate Up. If you'd like to submit your own prompt in for hookery and or cookery, you can shoot that through to cooksofhooks@gmail.com or reach out to us across the socials with @hook_cooks. Speaking of that prompt, chefs, BFFs, and guests, let's get cooking. What are we working with?
Nirali, would you like to do the honors? This is your prompt.
Oh, yes. So today the prompt is Sock of Mystery.
Sock of mystery.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sock of mystery.
Okay.
The sock that keeps on socking.
The sock that keeps on rocking. I am the only one here that doesn't know the prompt. I am absolutely knocked off of my mystery socks with this sock of mystery. I am aware that all of you have a little something to share with me that you've pre-prepared. Do you want to show me something that we prepared earlier? I'll go through our regular players, and then Nirali, you can tell me what you've got for sock of mystery. Jack, what have you got? Lay it on me.
Well, yeah, I'll start with the bad stuff, right? I'll start with the best before yesterday's.
Give me that stanky.
Things.
Give me the stankiest of your leftovers. Give me the things that you thought of when you weren't really thinking. I want to know about the bad stuff first. What have you got?
All right, Sock of Mystery is the signature move of Mystico, a supernatural crime-fighting pugilist from the Bronx. His dad is David Blaine, his mom is an honest-to-God demon, and he was raised by magical wolves? Exclamation point. One punch from Mystico will knock you into next week. Or will it?
Okay.
There's a lot going on there.
He was raised by wolves? Question mark.
Magical wolves? Question mark! Exclamation point.
Of the question mark and exclamation.
You've got to have a question mark and an exclamation point.
Yeah.
That's what brings
And
the
you gotta let
mystery.
people know.
So let me get this right. Sock here
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a punch.
is a punch.
Rock'em sock'em.
Oh, I intended it as a single sock.
Well,
but you can interpret it either way.
This is here we take ingredients and we find unique, exciting ways to apply them, such as inventing a hero that punches mystery into things.
Yeah, the way I was sort of
Okay.
imagining it, and I don't want to spend too much time
We
on
should
this,
probably
the
not
bad
spend time.
ingredient.
Okay.
But the way I was imagining it was that he'd have like you know the knuckle tattoos, but it would be like a magic 8-ball, and he'd like shake his fists, and it'd be like, oh, big punch, or like, uh-oh.
Okay, I hate it now. I hate it now. I'm completely off it now. I hate it.
No, I'm way back on board.
You're back on board.
I love that.
Do like the sock being punch instead, because it's like you don't know what the attack's going to be, right? It's an attack of mystery. That's the point.
I can see it like a comic book art page where they've been punched, and instead of it being like pow, it's just like whoa.
Question mark exclamation
Question mark
point.
exclamation point.
Yeah.
What's your first and worst, Mitch? Your best before yesterday's.
Okay. So, the sock of mystery. This is the sock that lives in my washing machine, which combines its alluring scent and the powerful art of negging to drag individual socks away from their soulmates. Get it? Soulmates. Then it murders them and hides the bodies. At least this is what I presume happens to my missing socks. As I said, it's a mystery. But
Okay.
maybe the truth is out now.
You know, that's not a bad idea, and
So-
I'll see that idea for when I get into my good ideas later. Is that's not a bad idea?
So on the record, early on,
Yeah.
you're going to say that there are elements of this one that you think are
definitely
good.
are good.
Okay.
I think.
I think that I'm solving a little mystery of my own here about what you might have cooking in your actual segment. I'm not surprised you've gone for the lone sock that disappears and reappears, that seems to fade between the phantom threads. Do you does it punch anyone or fight crime?
I mean, it does use its alluring scent and the powerful art of negging to drag individual socks away from their soulmates.
I didn't want to focus too much on the fact you did make the sock.
I mean, it's a bad sock, right? Like, these
Really bad
socks,
sock, man.
That's a pretty...
So like people, do the other socks know who this sock is, or is it just like a shadowy figure that appears like and just like
Look, every time I
It's
ask them,
socks.
they just they won't talk about it.
It sounds like a terrible sock.
It's the most annoying sock in the hamper.
It's not really a mystery, is it, guys?
Where's
Like,
The mystery is where it hides the bodies.
Like
cripes.
terrible pickup artist sock.
Well, with that sock
Sorry.
deposited into the garbage, firmly where it belongs, stinky and wrinkly, but with redeeming qualities as outlined by Jack. Let's get on to the meat and potatoes. Nirali, since you've waited so patiently through such great ideas, would you mind letting us know your meat and potatoes?
my idea is so that there's this certain kingdom and there's a single sock that has a very unique pattern on it. A pair of this sock has never been found, and for generations people have been searching the world looking for the pair of this mysterious sock. Whoever wore this sock would get flashes of visions, which people came to interpret as clues about the location of the second sock. It is rumored that whoever wears both socks will be given a great power, though what power this is or whether or not this is even true is a mystery.
Wow.
That's so good, man. I love the, like, it's like Excalibur, but a sock. Like, people, like, go up to this sock and put it on and have, like, these visions.
I love the,
so cool.
Getting little visions, and they just assume that means that's where the other sock is, but it could be anything, really.
Yeah,
it
fantastic.
could be. It could be like the end of the world or something, but...
Yeah, all the visions are of the back of the washing machine.
I really like the idea of the special pattern. So, and this idea of like valiant and noble or very wise people coming up and putting on this like special sock and then rolling around on the floor in visions. Okay, well, before we get into finding this pair, I want to find what my co-chefs here have on offer. What are your meat and potatoes? Mitch, do you mind starting us off? What do you got?
Nobody knew who you were until you put on the sock. You were nothing but a low-ranking cop who failed upward to become a bad detective. You weren't smart, you weren't clever, you weren't canny. And then things turned around. You were making connections in cases that everyone else missed. You were ahead of the game, a bright star in a shitty force. Your secret? A sock puppet you found in a locked evidence drawer. You'd pulled it on one day as a joke, and then it introduced itself. It knew things, clues, evidence, things no simple sock puppet should know. It was your secret weapon, and then, just as you were about to make the biggest bust of your career, it disappeared. Now you've got 24 hours to crack the case and locate your missing secret weapon, ideally without people finding out the terrible truth about you and your MIA partner, Shersock Holmes.
Oh, you had me right up until the end.
Awesome! Wow, I would watch that.
So interesting.
It's really good.
I'm so mad at you.
Shersock Holmes!
Was it worth it, Mitch?
Yes.
Was it worth it to ruin the whole thing?
You had such a brilliant
Had
little
me
package
right
there.
on the edge.
I gotta tell you, none of that idea would have happened without me coming up with Shersock Holmes first and then making a story in order to fit.
Ever heard the phrase "kill your darlings"? Yeah. Well, I really like that. Nirali, what's your feedback for Mitch's idea here?
I like Sherlock Holmes.
Yay!
Damn it.
Dang it, the balance of power has been disrupted.
Drawn in a ringer.
I think it's like, I feel like I pictured him at the start being like a really like suave sock, and then after hearing Sherlock Holmes though, like his image immediately became more comedic. He's got like the googly eyes, but like he's saying like really serious stuff, but the eyes are just like googly.
Yeah.
The idea about this like man talking to his sock puppet, and the sock puppet has googly eyes, and they're talking about like terrible crime scene clues, and like looking back and forth, and the sock puppet's eyes are just like all over the place. That's beautiful. Thank you, Nirali.
I love it.
I'm extremely disappointed that we've allowed someone into our ranks that will support Mitch's terrible puns, but I guess it is a balancing of the scales.
Yeah.
Let's move right along. Jack, I've got to know, what have you got for your meat and potatoes with Sock of Mystery?
Alrighty, here we go. The listener and their crew are animated sock puppets charged with the care and well-being of the entire wardrobe. A number of socks have been reported missing from the laundry, and these stalwart stockings are on the case. Brave the perils of the home, from unwitting humans to chew happy chows, and track down the Sock of Mystery.
Okay, this is good. This actually
Nice.
fits into exactly what I was thinking anyway. So your whole story is pretty much the connective tissue that I was going to suggest that exists between Mitch and Nirali's here. You've got the detective sock that disappears and you have to go find your partner. But in my head, that sock has disappeared to find its pair, right?
Oh, yeah.
To find the missing sock.
Sock puppet pair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we've only been introduced to this one sock puppet. Maybe they've been playing you as a schmuck to try and reunite with their pair and pull off a heist,
Cool.
maybe.
Maybe they'll do a heist.
Maybe the sock puppet was evil the whole time, but it was only making you think it was good, and it was trying to like lead you to its other sock puppet pair, which would cause all calamity or something like that.
They've been doing the murders. These two sock puppets.
We've done a couple noirs before. This is trending noir. I feel like we might be trickling along the piano keys, the ivories here toward a noir. Before we go all the way into that, is there we said Excalibur before? Could we have it that it's set in Excalibur times? And it's old knights pulling on a sock to try and find the wizard's power or what have you.
It maybe they're old fantasy characters, but the sock puppets are modern detectives.
They've come from the future.
Ooh, future is even better.
Time travel element.
I like future even. Well, wait. We have a decree against time travel on this show. We've tried it before, and it's very hard to do improv about time travel. We've learned.
Makes sense.
It turns out it takes a lot of time to write a story about time travel.
I think if there's ever a time travel instance in my life, it will be me going back in time to warn myself about time travel plots. Yeah.
No,
okay.
though, I'm kind of into it.
Damn you, Mitch and Nirali, you guys conspiring against us.
You've got stories happening in two distinct time zones with the Excalibur angle. They're trying to find their the missing sock, and then the modern detective is trying to find, and the two socks have joined, brought the two worlds together.
So they're trying to find a bridge in time.
Yeah.
One sock only ever existed in the past, and the other sock only ever existed in the future.
Are you saying that it's they are a pair and they're two separate socks, but they exist in separate points in time? So they're trying to do some sci-fi garbage to become a pair of socks. I love this.
And solve time crime.
Solve time crime. Yeah.
Solve.
Yeah. I think so.
I'm really into the idea of the two socks being separated.
Yeah, it's they've got to find Merlin or the Hadron Collider, and
and use those two powers together to make a bridge.
Sort of,
bring these two socks together, and then someone puts them on. It's these are comfy.
That's really cool, actually. It's so one side's a almost Stranger Things break into the lab, kind of angle, and then another story's being told that's set in the full-blown King Arthur past, with people trying to do a spell, and these two things happen simultaneously and cause this time bridge.
To bring these two socks together in the middle.
That's pretty cool. And they just end up in the Renaissance.
They're just Leonardo da Vinci's socks.
Yeah.
So dumb.
It's fucking dumb. I like it a lot.
It ends with Leonardo da Vinci drinking a cup of tea, kicking his feet up, and he's just wearing the the paisley socks or whatever. It's so good.
It's like a Looney Tunes close-in shot.
The googly eyes are still on the socks.
That's so good. All right, let's get the details in.
We've got two simultaneous narratives.
Oh, yeah.
So are the sock puppets talking to the court of King Arthur, and I don't know if it's detectives in the modern world, or if it's scientists, or just I don't know, maybe some rambunctious teens.
I think because I said Stranger Things, I've put my own brain into there's a bunch of 80s kids on one end, and then on the other end you have King Arthur's round table.
Yeah.
Is the sock controlling the person, or is the sock separate to the person? And does the person know that the sock is a separate entity?
Well, what do you reckon? Separate entity? Or possession?
Separate entity, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really do like the idea of the simultaneous socks trying to reunite over time. What I'd like is for both of the socks to be tricking the people, right? So that their only goal is to unite. So the teens think they're going to this Hadron Collider to save the world, and the knights think that they're going to find the Holy Grail, right? And both groups are being tricked, essentially.
Yeah. To make the socks meet.
One thing I wonder, and did the socks start as Leonardo da Vinci's socks, and then he sent them back and forwards through time just because he's that kind of guy?
Maybe he was like testing time travel, right? And so he did it with socks because they're like, worthless. But in the process, they became sentient.
Oh.
Do we want to do a side salad?
Ooh, yes, please. Jack, could you give us some context?
Yeah, so the side salad is my mom's way of making sure we get our greens. She's given us a number of prompts that we sort of add on top of whatever idea we've come up with. We've got this spinning wheel here, so we'll spin and we'll get whatever my mom has decided to foist upon us this week. So away we go.
On oyster sauce greens.
Chocolate is life. It's the side salad for this week. So somehow we are going to have to find a way to work in the fact
Your mum gave us the...
chocolate is life.
That's not healthy at all.
What was it?
Chocolate is life.
Is life. Chocolate is life. Okay, so now we need to find a way to interpret this prompt, chocolate is life, into our sock-based time reunification plot.
What about this? What about if the socks were not trying to find each other, but they were trying to find, like, this child who used to own them, and the child's favorite food was chocolate, so they used this chocolate as a clue to try and find their original owner, who, like, they love.
So the chocolate is the clue back to their life.
This little girl who loved chocolate.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
They sort of use it to, like, triangulate where they're going.
Yeah, they've got like the wrapper or something.
Like a bit of the wrapper that survived whatever the time thing was.
Yeah.
And they both have one half of the wrapper from like 1717 Florence or whatever, like a chocolate maker.
It doesn't have to be in the middle. It can just be like...
I'm trying to get Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci's been looked over for too long.
Yeah.
Don't get between me and my Leonardo's.
Get between me and my Leos, man. I think
that's really good idea.
They both have this half of a chocolate, and so they're like, it's like this very rare chocolate or something like that. So they're trying to eat all these different chocolates that they come across.
See, I'm okay, like, if they've got the wrappers of the chocolate, I'm on board with that. As soon as you have sock puppets eating chocolate, I'm out of here. I can't be a part of that. Like, that's...
Well, I kind of like because that idea would mean that this is like one stop on their sort of like long
journey through time to get back toward each other.
They're like going to different times to taste different bits of chocolate to figure out what year
I like that.
Okay, that's pretty beautiful. That's
really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, I don't think it was like back in Arthurian times, but we gotta check.
Maybe the next chocolate will be the last, Yeah. I really like that idea. You've got essentially quantum leaping socks that are like going to different points in history and trying to, like, it's almost this romantic story of these socks trying to reunite in time and find the chocolate shop that the child that they were the socks for disappeared on. And that way you can make them like fun, kind of bright colored socks. I don't know what socks they have in definitely Florence, Jack, but I'm sure they'd be brightly colored.
Especially, with googly eyes.
Yeah, I think the googly eyes probably got added throughout the sentience process. I don't think they were just there before.
So we think the socks are still separated, right? They've gone to different timelines to sort of taste all these different chocolates, and then their plan is to reunite in the middle. I
think they've been separated. And the only way that they will reunite is by coming back to the same point in time, right? Because they're like
the timeline of the child that they originally.
Yeah, so they're trying to taste their way back to that point because they know that that's the only reference point they have for each other.
But are they eating it and they're like, granularity 56/60? It looks like It looks like this is probably about 64 years off. Let's keep going.
I think we can be a little bit more fanciful with it and just have it be a vibe.
I think for that purpose, even though I like the socks, like monging on a piece of chocolate and grinding it up, I think having a half of the wrapper each, and whenever they arrive somewhere, they weren't sentient beforehand, so they don't know like where they really come from. They're just checking that time period for that
makes
wrapper,
sense too.
right?
Yeah.
And then once they realize, okay, I don't think it's going to be here, that's when they give up on that timeline and try to jump again, right? Yeah. So we've joined both socks at the point where they're giving up on believing that this point will have the secret. So if you actually get one of the socks to reveal their intent, maybe one of them tells us what's going on, that'd be great. They can say, every time we jump, we spend 100 years looking for this shop, and if we just don't think we're going to find it, we jump again.
And then maybe like in this iteration, one of the rambunctious kids had like a holiday in Italy and is like, I think I know that chocolate shop. It's been there for ages and ages. Because I feel like we want to sort of be at the final jump.
Okay, cool. So what you'd need to do, right, is you'd need to, from both sides of time, answer the riddle. So from the forward, you'd have to have one of the kids go, hey, my dad has a candy bar from a shop in Florence, like some historical shop. But you'd also need some Arthurian guy to be like, Florencio, your children will make great chocolate one day.
That's cool.
And then they go, that's where it'll be, and then they can like try to,
and then they plot the heist on the Hadron Collider and kill the kids kill
the round table of knights, kill Lancelot, Merlin, King Arthur, kill Leonardo and everyone in Florence, Italy.
In the third act, it takes like a sharp left turn from like a sweet reuniting story to like a horror.
You thought this was a sweet. We're the two most murderous socks throughout all time, and finally we will be reunited.
You think they're trying to like reunite with this kid because they like love them, but they actually just like want revenge for something. So it's been like a revenge story the whole time.
You never washed your feet.
I really like the socks. Through time, reuniting based off a chocolate wrapper from like Renaissance Florence. I think that is absolutely the core parts of the story. I want to narrow down one last thing. Perhaps this can be left to the listener's imagination, but I want it set in stone for our musings. Nirali, what is the print on these socks? I want to know what the socks look like, and I want you to have the final executive decision. Go nuts.
Maybe in keeping with the chocolate theme, there's just like chocolate bars around, because if this kid loved chocolate, you assumed she may have bought like chocolate patterned socks.
Oh, that's cute. And they're in like little chocolate wrappers and like little chocolate bars on the. That's great. I love that. And
candy bar prints.
And then it'll be very a great contrast as this sock is like trying to be serious and it's covered in like sweets and treats. Okay, whenever we head into the plate up, we designate like a sequence or a scene within the story that we've kind of put together that will push into the plate up. Nirali, you are our guest, and I would love for you to do the honors. We normally have a bit of a chat about it. We'll feel it out, but do you have a segment of this story that you think would be best for the plate up?
Like a scene to like visualize? Okay.
Yeah.
So imagining the moment, and these socks can communicate with each other in time, right? We decide on that.
Sure.
Yeah.
We have now. Lock it in.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. It's all just made up.
No, it's a real story.
Spoiler alert. Wait a minute. Let me check the script.
All right. What do you think? What scene speaks to you?
Okay, so you have these two socks across time, and this one sock is talking to the guy who he's like come to befriend, who's helping him like journey through time. Yeah. And this person starts telling the sock about his like ambitions to make this signature chocolate that he's like in spending his whole life getting all these ingredients, and then it's like cutting back and forth between the sock in the future, like finding clues about this old chocolate shop that used to exist from this person but that's now shut down. And so they're kind of like, it's cutting back and forth between these two socks, kind of piecing together this thing where it's like all coming together, and they start to realize the exact time period that this chocolate shop existed.
Perfect. That's, I agree. That's the scene that is so, like, it really is the excitement of the mystery coming to a head, right? It's not the sci-fi climax of the story, but it's the climax of the mystery. I really like it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great selection. What do our fellow chefs think?
I think that's great. I mean, after thousands of years and so many chocolate bar wrappers, to finally have that mystery come together and crystallize in one sort of, and I like the idea as well, like that we're going to be going backwards and forwards in time while we tell the scene. I think that's really fun. It's like increases the pacing and builds the pressure. It's like conversations back and forth. It's a lot of fun. I'm keen.
For sure.
All right, excellent. Well, let's slip on a size 7 plate up and I don't know, kick it,
sock
kick
stuff.
It. Sock stuff. I'm doing sock things.
Let's just roll them up our ankles and see how it feels.
Let's do that with the plate up, why don't we? There we go.
How far up the leg does it go, the sock?
Where does it stop? Nobody knows.
The 80s. Out of all the time periods you've adventured through as a temporally misaligned animated sock puppet, this one is definitely the one with the worst hair. It's all fast cars, loud music, and the imminent threat of nuclear apocalypse, and you are sick of it. If only you could find your partner sock and make your way home to nice, quiet, Renaissance period Florence and the feet of your chocolate-loving child. Well, if there's one good thing about the 80s, it's that it's chock full of impressionable bands of ragtag kids just waiting for adventure. As soon as their friend went missing, they were all like, oh, maybe the magical sock puppet we've just met will know where they've gone. You imagine clinging to the scrap of chocolate wrapper stashed away in your little sock pocket. You don't have hands, after all, and you come to a decision. This is your last stop in the 1980s. You'll check this candy warehouse, and if there's no sign of a matching wrapper, you'll find a way to time jump out of this cursed decade and continue your quest for a way home.
You lay in the corner, looking around the dark, dimly lit room, and the man on the other side wielding a knight's sword and bronze armor, readying himself for battle in this era of dragons and ferocious beasts, where sunrise would bring a battle like no other.
Amen.
All you could think of is chocolate. Chocolate and a little girl's face, whose memory becomes more and more hazy with each passing day. You cling tightly to the empty chocolate wrapper beside you. Well as a sock puppet like yourself can cling to anything. Its shiny exterior depicting the word Florentino, your only clue to finding the chocolate shop from which it came, and so the little girl who you fondly remember eating it. It is absolutely vital that this night, this man Sir Galahad leads you to uncover the mystery of this boutique chocolate shop. Neither time nor space shall stop you from returning to the girl, no matter where in time this chocolate shop lies. Here you find yourself, lost so far in a corner of time that you can't tell past from future.
At last, the sunrise.
Sir Galahad readies his sword and steps outside. Battle begins.
The kids have done their jobs well. The tough kid helped Jack a van. The tech-savvy one went Radio Shack MacGyver and built some kind of sci-fi lockpick gun. And the cool one has been playing some awesome tunes on the 8-track. Great taste. The Violent Femmes have some great back catalogue stuff. You look around the van as the kids celebrate their youth, singing and dancing despite their woes. You peer at them through stern, dead, googly eyes. You may be a sock puppet, but these kids are marionettes, dancing to your tune. They really want to find their missing friend. Posters, radio ads, milk cartons. And that might make you feel bad if you hadn't been cursed to wander forever through time, a single sock separated from its pairing. The unknown sea of time you have sailed across has numbed you to their plight. You set your sights on a warehouse, dark and dusty. You've heard of a discontinued chocolate that may match your stashed wrapper fragment. Of course, you've promised your friendly future adults that the place will contain all the answers to their misplaced amigo. Once inside, you direct the children to a dusty box, faded with age. You hasten them to open it, and inside, you see a name you'd almost given up on seeing. It's not the same design, no. It was the result of quite a lot of redesigning, but it was the right chocolate. In bold, cursive font, you see Florentino. That was the brand. Excitedly, you inquire further. Made in Florence since 1736. Your next move will be to infiltrate CERN and find a way to access a super collider, but for now, you think these kids should get to have some burgers. After all, they can't help you initiate a super collision on an empty stomach.
Fireball erupts overhead, embers singeing the bright candy wrapper markings on your fuzzy head. Your googly eyes shake as Merlin descends, riding a cloud. He holds in his hand a burned body, and you realize with some relief as Merlin drops it at King Arthur's feet that it still lives. This is the one. If that sock is correct, this man is blood-tied to ancient Meridian's dragon tether. You are glad that the googly eyes do not give away emotion. They bought every line of your fantasy mumbo-jumbo. But what has that old wizard done? He's nearly ruined everything. He wasn't supposed to kill the man. You need to talk to him. You're not sure exactly what he knows. That's why you need him alive. You're beginning to suspect you may have laid it on a little thick, considering the totally unnecessary fantasy battle raging around your camp. You probably could have been a little subtler. This is he? Arthur's voice trembles. You're not surprised. As far as he knows, the man in front of them is moments away from summoning... Well, you can't entirely remember what. You said something dramatic. Arthur draws his shining sword. It is the only way. This Florentino's dark secrets can only be banished by Excalibur itself. Arthur nods, but you've gone cold. Well, as cold as a sock puppet like yourself can go. That name! You take control, and Sir Galahad draws his blade in a quick, sudden rush, stepping before his king and blocking the deadly strike. Your socky grip shakes under the blow, the hilt of the sword almost twisting, but your desperation wins out. You must find your way home, and Florentino is the last piece of the puzzle. It's his chocolate shop. You realize he must survive. Sir Galahad's eyes are wide as Arthur looks down at the ringing swords. You stand over the burned body and raise the blade in Galahad's besocked hand. You will not touch him.
Awesome.
I'm really disappointed, though. I had to cut a Sir Galahad joke for time.
Okay, well,
I got it in here just so
Saved it.
truly, your tyranny is not able to be stopped.
You can't control me.
I really, really enjoyed that. I thought that it was a lovely time, a lovely sock-based time. Thank you so much for your prompt this evening, Nirali. I had a really fun time with it.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. It was heaps of fun, like creating this chocolate story.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward for
I love where it
Shopkeeper
went.
Studios' newest venture after this,
It's Kismet. Of course, Shopkeeper Studios and chocolate is life.
Oh, I just
look at that.
realized.
Look at that. It's a spiritual connection there. That is all the time we have here in the Hook Cook Kitchen. Before we do depart, Nirali, could you just give us one last plug?
Oh, yes. So if you're interested in hearing seeing more about the art of murder, you can follow us at Chopkeeper Animation on YouTube and Instagram, and Chopkeeper Anim on Twitter. And thank you so much again, guys, for having me. I've had such an awesome time, and it really means a lot that you invited me on. I really appreciate it.
So kind of you to say when it's truly you doing the favor for us.
Yeah, we're super glad to have had you. And Nirali, just quickly, where and when will people be able to see The Art of Murder?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, good question. You will be able to see it. The pilot will be on YouTube, and it will be premiering this summer, Australian summer. So depending on where you are in the world.
So sometime around December, January?
Yes, around there. Perfect.
Excellent. That's something we can all look forward to as the new year rolls around. It is time for us to end the shift in the Hook Cook Kitchen. As I have mentioned, if you would like to shoot a prompt through, similar to Nirali's fantastic prompt for the evening Sock of Mystery, you can shoot that through to cooksofhooks@gmail.com, or you can find us on the socials at hook_cooks.
That's it. And if you are enjoying the music that we are making, the songs that we are singing, please let us know. As I mentioned in the last episode, if you're not enjoying it, don't worry about it. That's fine. We don't need to know that, but we do love positive and constructive feedback.
It's really grooming the audience very well there, Mitch. Really,
Please don't make us cry.
don't make us cry. Very sensitive.
Little soft boys.
Thank you to Holizna for our opening theme, Sailing Away. And, of course, thank you to Jack's mum for the side salad.
Thanks, Mum.
I think that's it. I've been Connor, your larder critter.
I'm Dishbot playing the role of Jack.
Oh, I'm Nirali, your animation chocolatier.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
All right,
very good.
very well
And
done.
I am Mitch, the Monster Chef. Thank you so much for joining us in the kitchen. Are we happy, everyone?
Yes, chef.
Chef.
Awesome. Oh, sorry. Can we do it again?
No, that's perfect. I really like that.
Your only job is to have fun. And
Just have fun.
Sounds good.
But do talk, though. We will.
Yeah.
Fucking have fun.
Yeah, and have fun.
That's good.
have fun
Sounds good.
while talking. Because that's basically what a podcast is.
That's pretty much you've described a podcast, haven't you? There?
Just don't play a board game in the background or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.